Here are my predictions for the Arsenal versus Manchester United game. Midweek Premier League football. You love to see it, and it is absolutely huge. Biggest game of the match round by a country mile. Arsenal got an opportunity to put maximum pressure on Liverpool, who obviously have Newcastle United away, which is very, very tricky, very, very difficult indeed. And obviously Manchester United go into the game against Arsenal in really, really good form. If you add Ruud van Nistelrooy's kind of form with Manchester United when he took over as interim manager, into Ruben Amorim, they haven't lost a game in all competitions since the 27th of October, which is not bad. If you base it on how bad Manchester United were a few weeks ago, it was embarrassing. I loved every second of it for obvious reasons, but they have improved, and we will talk about Manchester United at the end of the video. We have to start off with Arsenal. 15 goals in basically a week of football against Lisbon in the Champions League, against Premier League opposition away from home in West Ham United, and Forest, who are doing very, very well at the moment. They beat them 3-0 at home over a week ago now, of course. So this Arsenal side look like they are far more liberal and free in the midfield. Obviously, Odegaard is a massive part of that. They're still scoring goals from their set pieces. Gabriel is a huge player in this game if he's fully fit. And even the front line, Saka is looking absolutely electric as well. Arsenal go into this game, of course, favourites, but the big one for me, I talked about him just a minute ago, is Gabriel. It looks like he might have an injury for the game, and that kind of element of aerial physicality that Arsenal have had in the last couple of years, and Gabriel's probably been the cornerstone of that in terms of any free kick, any corner into the box. Gabriel is unplayable in the air. He really is. That sort of facet of Arsenal's game could be completely gone if he's injured for the game. I think they'll have to try and push him to come back for this. Arsenal cannot afford to lose the game. I'm not trying to put kind of reverse psychology pressure onto Arsenal. I think they've got more than enough ability to beat this Manchester United side. I really do. But the reason I'm talking about this channel is because it's such an interesting game. You think about Martin Odegaard. You think about the midfield options for Arsenal. Who will go in there? I think Thomas Partey might have a knock. For me, it would be Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard in that midfield. I think Jorginho is so underrated. He was very, very good against West Ham. Again, he never loses the ball. Obviously, he always received criticism. I think it's from Rio Ferdinand a few years ago about what does this guy actually do. But he just allows everyone else to express themselves. He keeps possession in crucial areas of the pitch, and he allows the likes of Odegaard, allows the likes of Declan Rice to go forward and express themselves. And I think he's going to be a very, very important role in this side. For me, if you can keep the ball against Manchester United, they are going to be a little bit frustrated. I still think that on their day, they can be a little bit impatient. They can snatch at chances. They're still ruthless side counter-attacking wise, and we saw that against Everton. But this is a whole different cut above, and you feel that Jorginho gives Arsenal that extra 5-10% possession in the game. It will allow the likes of Odegaard to find more and more space, particularly in the second half if things are tight. Odegaard's the one, isn't he? Let's be completely real. It doesn't matter who's really playing behind him as long as he's fully fit for Arsenal. The ability for him to sort of at any angle receive the ball, link up play, the range of passing, the little dink over the top on the weekend instead of sort of playing the ball on the ground for one of the goals against West Ham United was absolutely outrageous. His range of passing, it doesn't matter if he's come back from injury or not. If he gets that ball, he's just got such a range of options in his head. You can see him sort of ticking in his brain how he's kind of reading the game, running the game single-handedly. And if he finds any pockets of space against this Manchester United side, I think he's going to find a lot of joy. Again, when I'm talking about some of these players, it's what makes Arsenal massive favourites for this game, and they do have to win the game. They really do. They have to keep winning football matches until Liverpool drop off, and Newcastle could be a big hurdle. Even if it's a draw, it's a great opportunity for Arsenal to chip away pressure in the title race. I'll be covering the Liverpool-Newcastle game, obviously, in the week as well, so make sure you subscribe to that. I have to talk about Manchester United. I am a fan of Ruben Amorim. I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't. I wasn't a huge fan of Ten Hag when he came in. I'm just being honest. I wasn't. You can just see with their kind of characteristics. You can see with their energy. I think he can carry the club on his shoulders a lot more than Ten Hag can. I think Ruben Amorim's got sort of this higher standards. There's something about him that he's got his confidence. I'd want to play for Ruben Amorim. I wouldn't want to play for Ten Hag. I just know that's just who I am as a person. And you can see it in the levels of some of these players. Obviously, he's had zero transfer budget to spend. He's come in midway through a season. And he's got the likes of Xerxes playing. Diallo, Rashford looks like a whole different player. The big one that I have to start off with is Mazraoui, who, even under Ten Hag, let's be completely real, very, very good, whether playing on the left, on the right, in a back four as a fullback, as a kind of right-sided centre-back. He's been absolutely fantastic. His physicality is great. He's got these kind of long, dangly legs, puts in big tackles. He's always in the right position as well, on a positional kind of level. So I think Mazraoui's been fantastic. The pressing for Manchester United has certainly improved. Again, you're pressing someone like Jared Branthwaite. He's got zero confidence at the moment. Everton are really struggling. It's gone right under the radar for me how bad Everton were on the weekend, but it was embarrassing against Manchester United, some of the mistakes they were making. It really was. But the pressing, the belief, the desire, that it has improved. You can't tell me it hasn't. And it's leading from the front. Amad Diallo's been a sensation. I still think there's a debate there about is he a world-class winger in waiting? I still think there's a question mark there. He might be that kind of winger to get Manchester United back competing, and they'll have to improve in and around him, in my opinion. I don't think he's the A side of the card, if you will. I think he's a fantastic talent. They're still going to have to add in that area, and that says a lot, because they've spent a lot of money trying to address the right-wing situation. You think maybe Sancho was that initially. You think Anthony came in, that's nearly £185 million worth of talent. And Amad Diallo was kind of part of that system many, many years ago. Obviously loaned out, was a very young kid. Can't blame anyone for not playing him when he was that young. But he's come in and made that position his own. And his link-up play with Rashford looks very, very good. The third goal against Everton was beautifully well worked. And Rashford, it looks like a different player as well. Again, I still think you could argue Rashford isn't that player that Man United fans think he is. I don't think he's ever going to be a world-class player. But if you can build not every side that wins the title, goes on to win the title, has 11 world-class players. You can have top-level Premier League quality in and around it. And I still think Rashford and Diallo are top-level Premier League quality. I don't think they are world-class players. But if they can play up to their maximum level and Man United can bring in other options in the long-term future, they still are fantastic options. And there's no question that he's got them playing a whole lot better. The midfield looks better as well. I think the massive issue for Ten Hag is at points. That midfield was vacant for Manchester United. It was hollow. You could play right through it. It was embarrassing. Remember the Spurs game? The way they were just able to sort of play balls around the corner. The whole back four was exposed. And this kind of 3-4-3 system, when Man United don't have the ball, it looks a lot more compact. It looks a lot more kind of tightly knit, and it's harder to play through this Manchester United side. Kobbie Mainoo's looked better. I think he started the season poor, or at least a little bit flat, maybe down to the Euros as well. Casemiro as well. Look, he's probably in his last kind of peak for Manchester United, really. But I think he's having a good few weeks. I really do. He scored an unbelievable goal for Ruud van Nistelrooy a few weeks ago as well. I think he's in decent form relative to where he was. This is all relative to how bad Man United were, particularly against West Ham, particularly Spurs and Liverpool as well. They are improving. They really are. And this is a big game for them. If they can pick up a win, it'd be a massive statement, because obviously there's an Arsenal-Man United rivalry that is thicker than water, really. It's a huge, huge rivalry. And it gets Man United in that kind of discussion in and around Spurs, in and around Brighton. I can't believe I'm saying that. And Chelsea as well. It gets them in and around there in the Premier League table. This Man United side with Amorim, because I think it's the right appointment, have got a shot of getting into the top four. They do. They wouldn't have if they kept Ten Hag. That was pretty obvious. And I think there's a big opportunity there. Even a draw just keeps Man United ticking along and keeping unbeaten under Ruben Amorim. I think that's a decent return. I don't think it is going to be that way. I think Arsenal are going to dominate the ball. They're looking too good. If you score 15 goals in 3 games, you're going to score a couple against Manchester United. Can they return an answer? Can they score a couple themselves? I'm not entirely sure. I think there's a good chance it's a 2-0 Arsenal win, because Arsenal's defence is so good as well. Rare's looking fantastic. So is Yuri and Timber as well. I think Timber is a massive, massive threat for this Manchester United side. Are they going to be able to pick him up? Defensively speaking, they're still conceding a couple of goals, Manchester United. So I think there's a massive, massive Arsenal win on the cards here. 2-0. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be covering Man City, Liverpool this week, midweek as well. Make sure you subscribe for that, and I'll see you very, very soon.